Cheers.
I wanted to start this episode by saying, like, Brora is just different. But I realized I think I started the Cruden Bay episode the exact same way. There were no two rounds or no two courses that were even remotely similar to each other. Links golf is not this uniform thing that is the same along different parts of the coast. It's different everywhere you go. Brora is off the beaten path just a little bit. It's not Cullen. It's not like a random place. A lot of people go to Brora. It's about 30 minutes north of Dornoch, and if you're going to Dornoch to play Royal Dornoch, which you should do, you also should be playing Brora. It's the exact kind of course you need to fill your itinerary. It was originally a 9-hole course, then James Braid, the badass that he is, came in, turned into an 18-hole layout, and it's been the same 18-hole layout since 1924.
Braid, the guy...
He was a menace.
Yeah, he was a total menace.
Complete menace.
It's not Mickey Mouse golf, but it's also extremely interesting.
I think the coolest thing is just the whole setting, right? You're obviously seaside, which is really nice.
The guy loves the seaside.
You know, anywhere that you play in Brora, you can see the sea. It's one of my favourite things about the course. We have roughly 500 members, and that's a variety of different categories. And certainly it's bulked by overseas membership, which definitely helps us. It's just so natural, the ground out there. The greens are in incredible condition just now, so, and then some of the sites that they're on they're pretty special, I think.
Patron's trying to get his...
What about the par 3s?
His setup dialed in.
There is the last hole's a pretty long finishing par 3.
The A-Club life is not about catering your bag to the setup.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
It's about catering.
Seems a little scuzzy.
It's about catering yourself to whatever the challenge is.
It seems more than a bit scuzzy.
You know what, guys?
Oh God, he's so deep in his own head. Randy, we're gonna get his ass today.
Yeah.
I found a pretty cool hat.
Logo's really good.
Yeah. It's like a poor man's Tara E.T. Malcolm, just warm hospitality. Really, I think the merch czar could learn a lot from him, like how he sources his goods and everything too. You know, there's not a bad thing that he had in that shop. Great outerwear, great headwear, you know, and just a lover of Highland golf.
Sean Carter heading to the tee with a 2-point lead, and his 4th new putter of the week. Underrated storyline.
What are the electric fences like?
I've not tested the charge of the electric fences.
What's the payload?
That we're gonna have to find out. If you're asking the question, I think you should give us the answer.
Brora is the only place I've ever been where they actually have electric fences surrounding the greens to keep the sheep off. They let sheep roam freely around the property. There's cows that roam freely around the property.
Free reign and free range.
That's right.
You're a big free range
Exactly. But then there were those big cows just chilling down on the beach. And that was quite a shock.
Highland cows.
Yeah.
Got the hair. It got pretty similar to your hair.
Yeah, they kind of got
It is definitely part of the tourist attraction, but the members, which I obviously know really well, they like to make fun of for how excited the Americans get about the sheep and the cows that roam around. The fences are actually electric. The guys didn't believe me. Like there was a little tapping, a little holding of their finger on the electric fence to test to see if they're electric, and there is a charge in them. It's a small charge.
Yeah, the fencing's been in since ever I've known, and probably longer before that, and that's just to keep the green surfaces so good. If they weren't there, then you wouldn't be playing on the greens you are today.
Do we need to establish some hyper-local rules around rolling the ball out of sheep excrement?
I'm in with that. I don't know.
Is it going to be in play?
Probably.
Okay.
There's a lot of sheep out here.
Okay.
I'm worried about hitting the sheep.
Well, it's like you kill it, they grill it
I think so.
type deals in the clubhouse?
Yeah, for 5 pounds.
Okay, cool.
Now on the tee from the Mayor's School, Sean Carter. Oh, there it is, beauty.
Sizable crowd is gathered out here to watch these boys off.
Yeah, the short little flags out here. Here's how you know where to cross the electric fence, which goes all the way around the green. Started with a long birdie look at the first. Ooh. As is tradition, the leader will not be given any putts. We're going to have to see that one on a TC. Soly for birdie, take the lead. Oh, and he's yanked it. Good. Tron is getting a little chippy this morning already here at the first.
Let's try to add.
Oh, great putt. Just a stress-free little 4 there for Tron at the first.
Brora is not a championship length golf course, and we've seen several other courses similar to this on this trip. I think it tips out around 6,100 yards, but again, in Scotland, they don't necessarily treat that as a prereq. If you want to have a shorter golf course, you just have a shorter golf courses. That's what golf courses were like in the early 1900s. The thing about it being only about 6,100 yards is they haven't ruined it by trying to keep up with technology, adding tee boxes. I mean, the tees are still near the previous green where they were originally laid out to be. I'm sure it's been lengthened some over the years, but they just don't mind giving you a bunch of 350-yard par 4s. It's not easy. Like, this shortness doesn't make it easy. And they defended the course in many other ways.
Over the electric fence, over the bunker, stop it short. Very safe.
Safe. Deej, what are we dealing with here?
We're dealing with the electric fence. I'm gonna hit that and like electrocute myself. No? I get a free drop. Do I get to get it back?
It's immovable.
Only if you want.
I mean, gummy. I mean, yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Sick! God, that was almost. Nothing here, there's no way this is getting out. Sick! It's good, you can cut.
I don't know, everything was really well conditioned. I was expecting it to be a lot more rough around the edges, and for the limited resources that they have, I was blown away by the conditioning. So that was one element where it's a rustic layout, but the condition isn't necessarily rustic, which is a huge plus.
Maybe electric fences need to go around all the greens, because these are probably the best conditioned greens we played on the entire course. And for a course that kind of markets itself as being this raw, rugged place, the conditioning is like near perfection.
I love that idea. That's really good. All right, we're 5 holes in. TC is in the ass.
You know, I was up. I was on 3x tilt. Had a putt for birdie. I don't want to say I missed it on purpose because I didn't, but I'm glad I didn't make it.
You're trying to stay off tilt.
Trying to stay off tilt, especially with that
Avoid
coming
the
up.
big number.
Yeah, and then because a 4x double is like it's a lot of points.
Well, right, but you realize that to get to 4x would be more points than you lose.
Yeah, but it's. Oh, you stink.
Do it. God, that would have been the mega 5. Tron says they're not electric.
I don't want to do it. It's not electric.
Oh, good ball there, Deej.
that bunker.
Sick!
A storyline brewing here. The young Pie has had a lot of trouble in the bunkers. This looks to be a club change. I think he's got a pitching wedge, Mark. He does indeed, Johnny. Really have to question the decision making there. His situation has gone from bad to worse.
All right. Right then.
He is changing clubs.
Oh, great out.
He is out.
Not that hard.
TC for Eagle.
Trying to land the big bird.
Oh. A 3 for 2 there. It's par 5. Would have just about done it, I think. Is it a 9 or is it a wedge? Oh, it's a 9.
That's a great number.
Great ball.
That's what I felt pre-swing there. Let's you back off.
Seems like Randy's had just about enough.
Just short. This is for a 3x birdie. We'd have been all playing for second if that went in.
All right, we got 27 holes left.
Tron is on 280. I'm on 256. DJ 204. Randy 188. You guys just out there collecting that Firestone paycheck.
That's it.
Bah.
Oh, big tax.
Jesus.
It's just like a little shot. Now I'm not getting it. Oh, there, I just got it. Keep it on there.
Oh, good putt.
Story of the trip there for young DJ.
Soly, what's this hole do?
I don't really remember. Brora has a special place in my heart because of what occurred on June 20th, 2017. About 9 p.m. on the summer solstice, I happened to make a hole-in-one on the 334-yard 14th hole. My friends will say allegedly following that, but it happened, and I had two witnesses, two members there were witnesses to this feat, and I was disappointed to come back and see that there was no plaque on the 14th tee. If an ace on a par 4 doesn't get a plaque, what are we doing here?
Well, of course, it was, the site of Soly's alleged ace.
Very suspect.
On the par 4.
I think somebody made his day. It was a PR masterwork by Brora.
Yeah, it felt more like we were going back to a scene of a crime almost.
Hit a tee shot, and my playing partner said, "Oh, it's probably just short." And I kind of looked at him like, "That's not short of anything." First of all, got up there. There's no ball over the green. There's no ball right of it. There's no ball left of it. And he kind of just says, like, "Did you check the hole?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." He goes up and doesn't really get excited and just says, "Your ball's in the hole." And I did not believe him. And I told him, I was like, "If I come up there and my ball's not in the hole, I'm going to punch you in the face." And he's like, "Your ball is in the hole." And I, sure enough, went up there. Callaway won, bottom of the cup for an ace. I think I legitimately entered a state of shock.
So the circumstances were you did not see it go in.
Correct.
there were a couple witnesses to it that were kind of around.
Correct.
You had mentioned you were going to have them meet us here.
Yes.
They've since gone dark.
They're out. I think they're out playing.
They've
That's
since passed away.
my girlfriend lives in Canada. You don't know her.
All right, so Soly comes to the par 4 where we made a hole in 1 last time, and he is hitting an iron.
Wind's a little different.
Sure.
We've jammed up the entire golf course by letting groups play through, and there's people down there, so I'm not waiting for the green to clear. So yeah, taking an iron.
254 the hole. Tour pros laying up.
You deserve that.
That's the play. Chunk it. There. It's weird, I've never had to putt this green. No chance you guys are gonna give me any kind of gimme after that anyway.
Tragic on queso. Woo! Golf shot. As is the tradition here at Brora, we're going to play the final hole with our balls teed up on top of some wool from the local sheep.
Let's do it. Par 3. What is it? 201.
201.
God, playing about 240.
By tradition, we're totally making this up.
America first.
Goes right at it.
That's a good round. Hey, that was a bit of an ass beating on my end, but really fun. Great round.
Really enjoyed
it, guys.
Fun.
Always.
Yeah, good playing today, TC.
Solid.
TFT?
Solid.
Ooh. Oh, lost Steam there. That was fun, boys.
What do you think? It's great, man. The greens were probably the best greens we've played. Yesterday I was just physically exhausted. Today I'm mentally and physically exhausted, so it's just a struggle. Yeah.
When you go to a bigger name place, say Royal Dornick or even Castle Stewart, you can feel a bit like part of the machine. You know, they're rolling a lot of tourists through there. There's a reason why people go there. It's phenomenal golf. I love going to those places. But when you go somewhere like Brora, you feel like you matter a little bit more to that place. They love the fact that they get these visitors to help drive the economy of the local area, giving people jobs there, and just being a tourist attraction is a thrill for people in this small town of Scotland.
Parting thoughts from Brora. Randy merched out. Soly merched out.
We got a dope
Tron
logo.
merched out.
The logo is absolutely filthy. Malcolm actually sources as a merch. He's our merch sourcing guy. No offense to the merch czar. Rest in peace.
Anyone.
Malcolm in there actually sources some really cool stuff, but that logo is pretty filthy. God, that course, that was about as enjoyable as they come. DJ, you said that Nairn is the place that you would probably most like to play golf every day. I think Brora, to me, would be my ideal everyday course, to where it's just wild enough with some of the dunes where you can set it up differently every day, but it's not going to beat you down either.
We are headed to the site of what will hopefully become Coul Links. It is a Bill Coore, Ben Crenshaw design.
The land up here is so good for golf. We didn't get to all of the courses. We didn't get to Tane. We didn't get to Golspie. We'd love to spend some more time up here.
But the land is so good that Mike Keiser, who everything he's touched in the game of golf has turned to gold, has picked out a site. Unfortunately, it is a site of special scientific interest, but an incredible site for a golf course that he's hired Bill Coore and Ben Crenshaw to build Coul Links.
So a lot of people don't make it up to the Highlands. Either it's not a focal point of a trip, or they make it up there for a day, maybe two. I think Coul Links, or hopefully Coul Links, will change that.
This is just a few minutes up the road from Dornoch. It's only 20 minutes maybe from Brora. And a lot of people, a lot of locals believe that this golf course would turn Dornoch into a place where people go and stay and set up a base for their golf trip. So not only would adding Coul Links bring this incredible golf course to an already golf-rich part of the country, it also is adding restaurant jobs. It might be adding hotel jobs. The impact on the infrastructure and the economy in northern Scotland and the Highlands, it's difficult to measure, but a lot of the locals believe it would be very impactful. However, this is not the first time that a golf course would potentially be built on a site of special scientific interest, and the project in Aberdeen by a certain individual has left a sour taste in a lot of Scottish people's mouths.
The opposition people against this believe that this is an environmentally sensitive area, and that any disturbance to this area would have an impact to the dunescapes. The argument against that is that this land is not used for anything but some shooting and a few dog walkers, and actually the work that they'll do here is actually enhance the natural habitats and preserve them.
Getting this project off the ground has been a bureaucratic nightmare, with conservationists fighting heavily against the construction of the project.
It is one of the rarest and most protected dune landscapes in the whole of Europe. Yet a group of wealthy businessmen intend to overcome this protection and turn this beautiful and fragile place into a golf course.
When Donald Trump built his course in Aberdeen, we were told it would improve the environment. That site is now in danger of de-designation. Similar environmental improvement claims have been made about Coul Links. Does the First Minister not see that history is repeating itself? And First Minister, how can we have faith in a planning process when there's this level of interference?
There's probably not two people on a further end of the spectrum of golf for how they would go about building this golf course than Mike Keiser and Donald Trump. Yet at the same time, I can be sympathetic with some Scottish people that maybe are not as trustworthy this time around, considering how the first project went. But also a lot of local Scottish people encouraging the project to go forward.
As a Scot, I would love to see this golf course go ahead, just to see a Bill Coore Crenshaw course happen in Scotland. I think the people involved have the best interest for the community in mind. I think Todd Warnock has put years of time and money into Dornoch and has the best interests of Dornoch at heart. And I think the people involved in this project have the best interests at heart. And I think Scotland deserves to have a Bill Coore and Ben Crenshaw golf course in their lifetime.
I don't live in the area. I'm not a Scottish person. I should have no say, and I do have no say on whether or not this course will be built. But do I want a golf course there? Absolutely. It would be awesome.
You can already see the dunes, and they look absolutely stunning out there. Hopefully we get an idea what the course is going to be like.
So we were rumbling down in our cars to this literally to this old barn, farmhouse, shout out Fish. And we got out, and you guys, I wasn't really dressed appropriately, but you guys really got out and walked, among the dunes. But then what we did, we all hit ceremonial shots to what we thought would be a cool green.
All right, shall we?
Yeah, DJ playing down to this natural little green site. For left. Give us the logo.
Yeah, we got to hit some shots at Coul Links. How'd you hit it?
I'm proud to say I hit the first wipey fade at Coul Links.
I think I hit the first dead shank at Coul Links. That's fun.
That was kind of foreshadowing to the next day.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious. Look, Tron's nervous. He left his chicken behind. Didn't finish his beer. Waterproofs are on for the first time.
Made it to the final round. Oh, he's out. Oh my God.
A wide and straight fairway greets you. Now turn around and look behind you. Be stunned by the view. Thus are the words of the great Donald Ross. Thanks be to Donald.